This is how you mix your grout and apply it to wall tiles.
You're going to need a clean bucket with cold, clean water. Don't forget to wear your mask, or preferably mix it outside because it will be dusty to start with. Then start to pour in your powdered grout. Slowly mix this around using a scraper. Continuously mix them both together. You can always add more powder to thicken the mix up.
So that's the consistency I'm looking for, nice and thick and stiff.
When applying it, you're going to need a rubber edge grouting trowel. Scoop some on the edge of the trowel and start to wipe it in the gaps from left to right and then right to left. This way it's assuring that you're pushing the wet grout deep into the gaps, making sure there's no air bubbles behind. Swipe down in a straight line across the joints. This will remove any excessive grout off the surface of the tiles, which will make it easier to clean further down the line. It also smooths the surface of the grout between the tiles.
Now the wet grout I applied has been in for about 15 minutes now, and you can see it's starting to go cloudy on the tile where it's really thin. It's drying off, but of course in between the tiles is still a little bit wet. So take your damp sponge and do circular motions across your tiles and across the joint, and what that does is it just removes off the dry grout off the tiles, but it doesn't pull it out of the gap here. That's still in there, and it's pushing it in a little bit deeper if it needs it.
And as you can see, your water will very quickly become dirty. I would suggest changing the water every couple of square meters. Now, when purchasing your tiles, it may be worth checking with your supplier that it's worth getting a pre-grout treatment. This can be applied on the tiles before you start the grouting, which will make it easier and quicker to polish off. Then you can continue to grout another 2 or 3 square meters. Because if you're a beginner, I would only advise to do small areas at a time, as the grout can tend to dry off quite quickly. Now, the grout between your tiles does serve a very important purpose. One, aesthetically, you want it to look nice, and there's a variety of different colours you can pick from. More importantly, the grout is serving a purpose to make your tiles waterproof. So it is important to take your time and get the job done correctly.
Although I've grouted around the 3 sides of these first tiles on the floor, right around here, I haven't grouted the gap between the floor and the wall. I did put my tile spacers there to lift it up because I do want a gap. You don't want a tile sitting directly onto a tile. You want that gap in between it. So once this grout is dry, I'm going to apply a line of flexible waterproof silicone that's suitable for bathrooms right the way along the bottom here where the floor tile meets the wall.
Wet the end of a smoothing tool using a silicone wipe. Then place it over your wet silicone and start to shapen the surface off, giving it a nice aesthetically pleasing finish. This method will also be required along the edges of your bath and shower tray where it meets your tiles.
So that's how you mix, apply and buff up your grout in between the tiles. If you're looking for more how-to videos, check us out on all social media handles. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mr. and Mrs. DIY.